Guys, now please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online, I'm audible, guys. Now please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online. Guys, now please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online, am I audible? Am I audible? Please, guys, all of you respond to me. All of you get my voice on screen. Okay. Right, guys. Just 2 minutes of time. I'll start the session. Just 2 minutes of time. Let me create a document. Springboard. Right, sir. It's okay. Right, sir. It's okay, fine. Guys, all of you take this link now. In the chat window, I'm going to send this message to everybody. Okay. I'm sending these details to all of you guys. Already I have submitted that. Now just you can copy that from the chat window. Everybody. Okay. Right, sir. Now this is like what there the classroom notes. At present, whatever the notes here I'm typing, no, the same notes here we are able to get it. One time, let me check this document is working or not, is coming or not. Now let me check with this. Just you can paste it in the browser address bar. Yeah, there directly here we are getting like what they are. Yeah, this document here we are getting it. It's okay, fine. Directly we are able to get like what there Springboard. Directly we can get the document. Okay, fine. No. Oh, okay, yeah, then do one thing. Just one more minute of time, guys. Just wait now. I think so. This is not good. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute, guys. Now I need to create a folder actually. Okay. Now, so okay. Now here we are getting it. 1 minute, guys. Then I will share the link. Yeah, guys. Now I'm going to share this with you. This is not the link. Just I'm going to change the link, guys. Yeah. Spring Boot 10 a.m. notes that I have given. Right. So now try to check this. Where is my webinar? Yeah, I will share in chat box. Don't worry. Here, where it is. Guys, 1 minute. I'll start it. Don't worry. Okay. Guys, now I'll share that to you. Don't worry. 1 minute. Now let me share this document with you regarding that. New document link here I'm going to share. Just 1 minute. 1 minute, guys. I'll start the content. Guys, now please check it now. All of you are getting that notes link. All of you are getting that notes links. Please check it now. Everybody, guys, just 1 minute now. Check it now in the chat box, in the questions box. Are you getting that notes link? Please say yes to me. No, I think I submitted already. Just open questions box. There we can see that most of the members are getting it. Yeah, share in the questions box only. I shared it in the question box only. There. Or else it's very simple to remember that linked data also, linked thing also. All of you know, check this one, https:// tinyurl.com/springboot 10 a.m. notes that are given, right? Now we can take it. Yeah, it's okay, guys. Now let us move on to the content. What I'm going to discuss with you clearly. What is the topic here we are going to understand here? First of all, let me talk about the Springboot content. What we are going to understand, the Springboot content here I'm going to talk with you. Now try to observe carefully. What is the content here we are going to discuss there? Let me list out all the topics. Then after that we are going to start one by one clearly. We are going to understand the content. The very first one is what their introduction. Of course, we are going to start this introduction today regarding this Springboot. Introduction part here we are going to start. And the second one is what their Springboot features. Springboot features. Almost all here we are going to get the complete awareness on the Springboot. What is Springboot? Why Springboot is available? Already we have Spring framework. Why we are coming to the Springboot? What is the demand for the Springboot? In a Springboot features, almost all the points here we are going to understand. After completion of the Springboot features, no. Out of all the features of the Springboot, some features are available. Components, some components are available in a Springboot. That key component, the components are what are key components in Springboot. That one here we have to understand key components in what there Springboot. That is another one. Okay, after understanding the basic key components inside the Springboot, no, then we have to put focus on how to prepare Springboot projects. In how many ways we are able to prepare Springboot projects, then all the points here we have to understand. Now let us understand the point clearly, like what there. What's the point here we are going to understand? Approaches to prepare Springboot applications. In how many ways we are able to prepare Springboot applications like this? Almost 3 to 4 approaches are available. We are going to understand all these approaches here now. Okay, then how we are going to use Springboot initializer. Then Weber tool is available to create a Springboot. There is an extraordinary tool. Not only that, in IDEs how we are going to prepare Springboot projects. In Eclipse IDE how we are going to do that. And in IntelliJ IDEA how we are going to do that. Without using IDE, with only Maven dependencies, with only Maven in a standalone, how we are going to prepare these Springboot applications. All these many things here we are going to be covered inside these approaches to prepare Springboot applications. Next one is after that. After completion of this, the next topic and the most important topic is in a Springboot. Another important topic is what there Springboot runners. Springboot runners. Yeah, command line runner is available and application runner is available. We are going to understand both clearly. How we are going to provide command line arguments to the Springboot application. What type of arguments here we are going to provide? Option arguments and non-optional arguments are available. Then how we are going to get both of them into the Springboot application? All the content here we are going to understand inside, like what there Springboot runners. There's a point here. Right, then important things are what their application runner is available, command line runner is available. That both here we are going to understand clearly. So they're also very important actually. Then throughout Springboot, I'm going to use these runner classes, and more than one runner also we are going to provide. How we are going to execute all the runners in a particular order, So many concepts are available inside the runner content that we are going to understand. After completion of this, properties files in Spring Boot. Properties files in Spring Boot. How we are going to use properties files inside the Spring Boot? I think you already aware about the properties files in Java. Right from core Java onwards, we are using at different locations these properties files. In core Java, we have used it. In internationalization, we have used it. After that, in collections, we are able to use it. In jdbc also, we can use this properties file. In Hibernate also, we can use this properties file. Everywhere we are going to use properties file. But now, its utilization is more in the case of like what there Spring configuration file. Guys, just one time give clarity for me, all of you know. Just a question here I'm asking to all of you. Please, all of you respond to me. I think you already aware about Spring framework, at least core module. Guys, now please try to give some information to me. I think all of you are aware about Spring core module, at least minimum Spring core module. Everybody, please respond to me one time. Please respond to me one time, everybody. You are aware about the Spring core module, at least little bit. What is Spring? How to prepare first application is Spring framework. You already aware about it. Right? Yeah, just Spring core module is sufficient, guys. I don't require too many concepts inside the Spring framework at present now. Just I required. Just core model related concepts I required. It is sufficient for me. Okay. Everybody. As a majority of my full stack Java students only. I think at 10 o'clock batch now. At 10 o'clock, I think already I completed almost like completed Spring core model and jdbc and about to start AOB module. All the concepts. So those are attending my Spring classes. We are aware about this content. Okay. It's okay, guys. That's okay, fine. That's sufficient now. Nice. Then up to core module here we completed, right? Fine. Anyway, then basic application now. In very simple Spring application, XML file is mandatory or not? That means Spring configuration file is required or not? Spring configuration file is required or not? Come on, everybody. Of course, we can use some alternatives through annotations, maybe, or through like Java-based configuration. That's okay. But basically, with XML file, we prepared or not? With XML file, majority of the applications we prepared with XML file or not? That's perfect. Majority of the applications we prepared with what their XML. So the basic Spring is dependent on the XML configurations. The basic Spring is dependent on what their XML configurations. Now try to understand it clearly. The basic Spring, the very basic Spring is dependent on what their XML file. Observe carefully. But the point is, and moreover, one more point I'm telling there, most of the people are getting confusion with XML configurations, XML files. Most of the people are feeling burdened while writing that XML file. Am I right or not? Remaining part of the Spring is very simple. Preparing Java bean class and preparing main class is nothing. It's very simple. But most of the people feeling burden while writing a Spring configuration file only. Am I right or not? Come on, yeah. Please respond to me immediately. Most of the people are feeling burden while writing Spring configuration file only. Like writing beans configurations and bean tags and inside these property tags and dependencies, injections, then everybody, but they're feeling somewhat difficulty or they're feeling somewhat hard while writing that is the configuration file, Spring configuration file. Yeah, exactly. Now that Spring people have understood your problem with the Spring configuration file, how much you are feeling burden with by writing Spring configuration file, how much burden you are feeling. They understood that, and finally they provide an alternative without using Spring configuration file, how to prepare Spring applications in a very simplified manner. Because of that reason only, what they have prepared there, directly they prepared Spring Boot. They have provided to you. Directly they have provided to you what there Spring Boot. They have provided to you. In Spring Boot, we are not going to write configuration files. We are not going to write what there configuration files. no XML file inside the Spring framework. The main mimic is what there. The main concept is what there. Spring Boot is what there without XML files. Spring Boot is what there. Spring project without XML files. Understand, guys, what I'm telling there? In a Spring Boot is mainly prepared without depending on what their XML configuration files. So in Spring, we have to use XML configuration file to provide some configuration details. But what I'm telling to you, in the case of Spring Boot, no XML files are required. XML files are not at all required. Understand my point clearly? In the case of the Spring Boot, XML files are not required. Okay, good. But listen my question here. In a Spring framework, to provide configuration details, we are using XML file. In Spring Boot, no XML file is available, but in Spring Boot also we have to provide some configuration details. In Spring Boot also we have to provide some configuration details, but without having XML configuration file, how we are going to provide configuration details into the Spring Boot applications? How is it possible to provide configuration details in Spring Boot without using XML files? That's the question, guys. In Spring framework, we are using XML configuration file to provide configuration details. In Spring Boot, XML files are not possible, not allowed, not available. So in the case of the Spring Boot, how is it possible to provide? How is it possible to provide configuration details to the Spring Boot applications? Exactly. By the time here we are going to understand the content is what there. All the configuration details we are going to provide by using what there, by using what files there. Now tell me, properties files. By using what there, properties files. In Spring framework we are using XML configuration file, but in the case of Spring Boot we are using what there, properties files. Guys, all of you get my point here. One simple difference here I said to you. Writing XML file, writing properties file. Which one is simple, guys? Now tell me. Writing XML file and writing properties file, or maintaining an XML file or maintaining a properties file. Which one is simple? Now tell me. Here itself we can understand the point here. Which one is simple? Writing XML file is simple, or writing properties file is simple? Which one is simple for us? No response. Yeah, properties file is somewhat simple when compared with what other XML files. If it is a properties file, no extra libraries are not required to maintain. No extra libraries are required to maintain. Why? Because properties file doesn't require any validations or this kind of content here. But in the case of XML, parsers we have to maintain. Some separate XML libraries we have to maintain. So that heavyweightness will be increased if it is an XML now. If it is a properties file, somewhat lightweight. Moreover, the representation is also like what their text-based representation in the case of properties file. No tags. Tags are not going to be used. The simple key value pair scale we are going to use. In the case of properties files, we are going to use only what their simple key value pairs. We are not going to use even like what they. We are not going to use even like what their XML configurations, the tags, and all the content. So because of that reason, properties file is somewhat simple in the case of like what their Spring Boot. Observe carefully. All right, so now the next one is, for the properties files we are going to use some alternative again. For the properties files we are going to use some other alternatives again. That other alternatives in a properties file in Spring Boot for the properties file is what there, YAML files in a Spring Boot. YAML files in a Spring Boot. Both are alternatives. Either we can use properties files or we can use YAML files. If you want to use both of them, nothing, no issues. We can use both of them. But how they are going to be executed, how we are going to get the data from the properties from YAML files, there we are going to do some approaches. There we are going to use some content clearly. Yes, everybody understand my point clearly what I'm telling there. So now the point is what there, properties files in Spring Boot and YAML files in Spring Boot. Both the concepts are very similar. Both are used to provide some configuration details in Spring Boot only. In a properties file, in an YAML file, the representation is different. Representation is not same, representation is different. Understand my point clearly now. But how we are going to represent data in the form of key value pairs in a properties file and an YAML file, that we are going to understand there in the actual Spring Boot projects. But at present we have to understand in the content here properties files and YAML files. Okay, fine. Next one is, there are some number of questions inside these properties files and YAML files now. What questions are available here? Is it possible to provide more than one properties file? Yes, definitely we can provide. Where we can provide in our project directory structure at different locations here we are going to provide. Okay, if we provide more than one properties file, how is it possible to get data from all the properties file? Yes, definitely by creating some environment object, or by using @value annotation. Might be different approaches are available. By using all these approaches here, we are able to get data from the properties files. This is that point here we have to understand. Okay, sir. Then properties files and YAML files, some content is available that we have to understand. After that, after completion of this content here, next one is what there Spring Boot profiles. Guys, everybody understand it now? Then what is the next topic? Spring Boot profiles. Guys, I think in a Spring core module we have discussed about this topic. In a Spring core module, we discussed about this content. Not only here, in some other concepts also we are having this topic profiles. What is the meaning of, what is the requirement of the Spring Boot profiles? In a simple statement, if you want to conclude, guys, observe carefully. In a single statement, if you want to conclude, the points are like what there. If you observe the project life cycle, the software project life cycle, if you observe there we are able to have analysis part, first one. Next one is the development part. After that, testing. After that, production. These four phases are available mainly. Forget about this analysis part now. Remember, development part, testing part, and production part. These three things if you take no, some configurations are different in the development phase. Some other configurations we are going to provide in a testing phase, and some other configurations we are going to provide in what their production. A simple example I'm telling here. For development point of view, we are going to use one type of database and one type of server. For QA, for testing point of view, we are going to use another type of database and another type of server. And for production, we are going to use what there some other server, maybe application server, some other server we are going to use, some other type of database we are going to use. So here my requirement is what there, when the configurations are different from one phase to the another phase of the project life cycle, how is it possible to switch the project configurations from one phase to another phase? How is it possible to provide the project related configuration details to the respective phase now? How is it possible to provide automatically the configuration details separately to the development part, and the configuration details separately to the production part, and the configuration details separately to the QA part, that means testing part now. So for that purpose, we are going to use what there Spring Boot profiles. Spring Boot profiles, the topic here we are going to use. Right, sir, that's okay. This is one topic here we have to understand. After completion of this Spring Boot profiles there, the next topic is like what I'm telling to you after completion of this. Next one is Spring Boot data JBA. Sorry, Spring Boot data JDBC is available, guys. Spring Boot data JDBC. Spring Boot data JDBC. This is available. Guys, it's okay, fine. Now I'm asking one simple question to all of you. Now try to answer for my question, guys. Everybody. Answer for my questions now. Very simple. In Spring JDBC, we have prepared number of applications. We prepared already number of applications, right? In all the applications, commonly we are taking DAO layer or not? Commonly we have taken what there DAO layer. Everybody understand my point clearly? You know already DAO layer or maybe repository layer. Number of examples we have seen there. DAO layer. In the DAO layer, we have used some DAO methods. Some DAO operations we have performed. Can you tell me, guys, what operations we performed in the DAO layer? In any project, in every project in the DAO layer, what operations we are going to perform in general? Now tell me. Those are already aware about Hibernate classes or maybe Spring classes and Spring JDBC. You might be answer for my question. What persistence operations we are going to perform in the persistence layer or a DAO layer? That's perfect, Bhushan, right? CRUD operations. CRUD operations here we are going to write. CRUD operations we are going to perform. Am I right or not? Can you tell me, guys, what are these CRUD operations actually? Guys, now tell me, what are these CRUD operations actually? Now tell me. Everybody, answer for me. Then what are these CRUD operations actually? What are these CRUD operations? Now tell me, guys, all of you know. Create, retrieve, update, and delete. Create, read or retrieve, update, and delete. That's nice. Now tell me, For create operation, that means for insert operations, we have to write some Java code or not? Come on guys, we have to use some Java code or not? Or at least we have to use jdbc template.update method, we have to use or not? jdbc template.update of insert SQL query here we have to write or not? You know already this point here. That is what I am telling to you. jdbc template dot, there we are going to write like what there update of, there we are going to write like what there insert into emp1 values, insert into emp1 values of some question marks here we are going to provide. Not only that, then here we need to provide some object array, anonymous object array, there we are providing like what the values for the question marks, like for example AAA, right? So now understand this clearly. AAA of this 5000 comma, then what next one, you know, like a Hyderabad, the values here we are able to provide. Am I right or not? So then automatically it is going to be executed. That insert SQL query is going to be executed with the provided value. That record is going to be executed. That's it. Now this is exactly the point about like what there JDBC. Spring is JDBC. Inside this, how we are going to perform this insert operation, all the content clearly. Everybody understand my point clearly now. But what this data JDBC, what this data JDBC module is providing, Spring Boot no is providing there. No need to write any insert SQL query, no need to write any jdbc template.update method. Simple. In some interfaces are available, repository interface are available, CRUD repository interface is available. Understand my point now? Inside these repository interfaces, some methods are already defined. Internally, some methods are already defined. That methods are going to take data from your code and it is going to store the data into the database table. You are not going to write any CRUD operations. We are not going to provide implementation for any CRUD operation. All the methods are predefined methods. Which method is required to insert the data into the database? That method is already defined. Which method is required to retrieve the data from the database table? That method is already defined. Which method is used to update the data in the database table? That method is already defined. Which method is used to delete the data from the database table? That is already defined inside the Spring Boot data JDBC. We are not going to write any implementation for any CRUD operation, any CRUD related methods. We are not going to implement the methods. Already methods are defined. Just we have to access them in the service layer. That's it. Just we have to access these methods in the service layer. That's enough. We are not going to write any code to perform these CRUD operations. Already CRUD operations are defined. CRUD operation related methods are already defined inside the Spring Boot data JDBC. So just we have to access them. Save method is already available. Save method is already available. Understand my point? Save is already available. Update is already available. And query methods are already available. Everything is already existed here. Just we have to access them. That's it. That methods here we have to access them. Right, sir. But what we have to do there, repository interface we have to take. That repository interface extends from CRUD repository. Automatically that methods are available to the repository interface. In the service layer, directly we can access that methods directly. That's it, guys. Now, so CRUD operations are not required to implement. So, but who has provided that predefined implementations for the CRUD operations? No. Who has provided that predefined implementations for the CRUD operations? No. There we can understand like what their data JDBC. In Spring Boot data JDBC that we are going to use. In Spring Boot data JDBC, we are able to have the similar kind of option. So what is the main advantage we are able to get by using this Spring Boot data JDBC? Only the main advantage is what there, without defining any of our query method. Without defining any of our query method, we are able to perform the CRUD operations. Without defining any of the repository methods, just we are going to access the repository methods which is already provided by Spring Boot. So that concept is nothing but what there, Spring Boot data JDBC. So because of that reason only Spring Boot data JDBC topic is provided. This is an extension of the Spring JDBC module. This is an extension of like what there, Spring JDBC module. Try to understand the point clearly. All right, sir. Now here we are getting like what there, extension of the Spring JDBC we are getting in the form of like what there, Spring Boot data JDBC. That's okay, fine. Similarly, in Spring, guys, I'm asking one question to you. Now try to answer for it. In Spring framework, we have another module to perform database operations. Can you tell me what is that module? Everybody, as part of your awareness, I'm asking there. In Spring framework, JDBC is one module to interact with the databases to perform database operations. Similarly, we are having another module to perform the database operations. Can you tell me, guys, what is that module actually inside the Spring framework? Yeah, Java persistence API, it's okay, fine. What is that module name? What is that module name? Spring transactions is okay. Transactions, yeah, what I'm telling there, it is a supporting module for the other modules to perform the database operations. Can you tell me what is that other module? Spring transactions, okay. It's not the main module. Spring transaction is like what I'm telling there, supporting module for the Spring JDBC and as well as what there, one more module to perform database operations. AOP is different purpose, guys. Data JPA is available. That's okay. I'm not talking about data JPA. Data JPA is purely related to Spring Boot. Spring MVC is a web application related. No, no. Yeah, some of you are already given information there. That other module is what there? Spring ORM. What is that other module there? No, Spring ORM. Spring ORM is almost equal to what there? Spring with a Hibernate integration. Is almost equal to Spring with Hibernate integration. Understand it clearly. So ORM module is available, right? How Hibernate is performing database operations normally, in the same way we can perform the same Hibernate operations inside the Spring framework. That is what their Spring ORM module. Everybody put more concentration. This is about like what their Spring ORM module. If you're getting it or not? Okay. Even though we are using Spring ORM module, in Spring ORM module, still we have to write some database code to perform the database operations. In Spring ORM mode, we are going to take some DAO layer. Inside the DAO layer, we are going to define the DAO methods. Inside the DAO methods, we are going to write some code to perform the DAO operations. Say for example here, what I am telling to you, observe carefully. We are going to take something else like what they, first of all, we are going to take like what they, public, for example, interface, student to DAO interface here we have taken. Example here I'm telling to you, but try to understand it clearly. Now inside this, what we are going to do there, some CRUD methods, DAO methods here we are going to prepare. Say for example, or a string, now here we are going to use like what there, add method for example. There we are going to take a student to student. Next one is what there, after this, public student search. There might be here we are going to provide what there, student ID. Next one is what there, after this, public void or public string update method is available. There we are going to provide like what their student. Then after this, public, what next one is available here, no string, public string delete method, where string student ID. Like this here we are able to provide all these methods are like what their student DAO methods here we are going to provide. Now in general, then what next one here we are going to do there? The next one is what there we are going to take public class implementation class here we are going to take public class student DAO IMPL, student DAO IMPL. There we have to write like what there, implements student student DAO. Then these methods implementation here we have to provide. There also each and every method implementation here we are going to provide. Observe carefully. Each and every method implementation here we are going to provide in this case. All right, sir. Student DAO interface methods are available. Student DAO IMPL implements like what the student DAO is available. All the methods implementations are available. Observe carefully, guys, what I'm telling you. So here to perform the operations here, we are going to perform what there, some logic. Here we are going to perform like what there, some logic. Here also we are going to write maybe a set of Java code, a set of Java instructions here we have to write. This is actually the approach what we are following regularly. But what the Spring JDBC, data JDBC or data JPA, these two modules are providing environment for us. Observe carefully. This is existed one. Now I'm giving the Spring Boot related content. Then what I'm telling there, the public class student repository class I'm going to take now. Student repository, not class here. Now it should be like what there, an interface. If we take here, interface student repository, then it should extends from what there, CRUD repository. For example, one interface is available. One interface, repository, predefined interface are available. In place of this XXX interface are available. Some name is available, whatever it may be. the card repository, or maybe some other names are also available. No to think about it. Just we have to provide like this. No need to do anything. Just a public interface student repository extends a XXX repository. That's enough. Then now here what we have to do there? Now here we are going to take like what there public, right? Now public just a class here we are going to take, even not required to take this content also there directly now. Okay, just if you provide that XXX repository, in the sense CROT repository, some other interfaces are available. These repository interfaces are providing the required all these methods. What are the methods now? Add method, search method, update method, delete method. These type of methods are all provided to what their student repository interface. These XXX repository interfaces, they are the predefined interfaces, are providing predefined methods like what their add method, search method, update method, delete method to the student repository. Directly they are provided. Why? Because that required implementation is already provided by Spring Boot to the methods. That methods are already provided by XXX repository to the student repository. Because of that reason, we are not going to, developer is not going to write any logic for inserting data into the database table, retrieving data from database table, or maybe updating the data into the database. So these logics are not required to define by the developers. Even CRUD methods, that means CRUD operations, are also not defined by the developers. Why? Because XXX repositories are going to be provided the CRUD methods implementation toward the student repository interfaces. So because of that reason, directly we can access them in our service layer or in our like what their controller layer as part of our application requirements. That's it, guys. Now that's the purpose of like what the content here. So about like what the data JDBC, what I'm telling to you. Observe carefully. So that Spring Boot data JDBC is an extension of the Spring JDBC. Similarly, Spring Boot data JPA is available, guys. Spring Boot data JPA is an extension of the ORM module. It's an extension of the Spring ORM module. In Spring ORM, we have module. There also we are performing database operations. But in the Hibernate style, we are going to perform database operations. But by the availability of the Spring Boot data JPA, we are not required to provide any implementation for any of the CRUD operations which are provided by, which are defined through like what there Spring Boot ORM. That means Spring ORM. But in the case of Spring Boot, already these methods are defined through the Hibernate internal implementations. So directly we can access them. No need to define any of the CRUD operation related methods. CRUD methods, CRUD operations are not required to be defined by the developers explicitly inside the Spring Boot applications. Why? Because XXX repository interfaces are available. They have provided the related content directly, the required CRUD operation related methods directly to our interfaces. Right, so now this is another point here we have to understand. Next one is, it's somewhat related with like what there data JPA only, but as a separate topic here I'm going to use there. Now here using in-memory databases in a Spring Boot applications. In-memory databases in Spring Boot applications. In-memory database best example is what there H2 database. H2 database. That in-memory database are like what there. They have the nature. They will be created at the time of loading of the application. They will be terminated at the time of terminating the application, guys. Everybody understand my point clearly? That in-memory databases are going to be available how long that application is going to be executed. Once that application execution is completed, that in-memory database are also be deleted here. They're not going to be available for us. So during that application, we are going to use the memories. That means memory management system, in-memory management system, we are going to use up to as per our application temporary purpose only. That how to use that H2 memory we are going to use there in our content. Next one is after this, after completion of this, NoSQL databases in Spring Boot applications. Come on, guys, can you tell me any example for NoSQL database? No, as per your awareness, will you give any example for NoSQL databases? No. Nowadays, now number of NoSQL databases are available. The best example is available. Cassandra, right? Perfect. MongoDB, right? Perfect. MongoDB, I'm going to use in our Spring Boot applications. But I'll not go up to the Cassandra, but MongoDB I will discuss with you. How to install MongoDB, and how to then after that how to perform the CRUD operations with MongoDB normally. After that, how to use that MongoDB in our Spring Boot applications. We are going to see that project, almost one very good project there. We are going to understand about this MongoDB related content. Okay. right? So similarly, in-memory databases in the sense DB is available and a H2 database is available. So I'm going to use what their H2 database for the in-memory databases now. That we are going to understand clearly in the next upcoming sessions. No, that we are going to understand. After completion of this, the 13th topic is like what there. Spring Boot Web. I'm going to use, or maybe I'll not go with that immediately. Spring Boot Web. That and I will talk about it. Then before that, then what I'm going to do there, Spring Boot email. That is almost all this is equal to mail API in Spring Boot. So Spring Boot email, that is also another module that we are going to do now. How we are going to send a mail from Spring Boot application to a particular recipient. How it is possible? How is it possible to send mails through Spring Boot applications? Definitely, we are going to see an example on the basis of the Spring Boot email. There I will prepare directly a simple Spring Boot application to send a mail to a particular mail ID. Not only that, how to provide attachments to along with our mail ID and how to submit that attachments through the mails now. So how we are going to work with these mails, Spring Boot mails, that there's a model, separate model there we are going to understand. After completion of the Spring Boot email, next one is what there, Spring Boot batch processing. So this is Spring Boot batch processing is mainly for the sake of dealing with the large volumes of data. How we are going to transfer the large volumes of the data from one application to another application. These concepts are well suited for microservices. These concepts are very much utilized in microservices, but in Spring Boot itself we are going to understand it clearly. So Spring Boot batch processing, how we are going to deal with the multiple large volumes of data, large chunks of data, how we are going to deal with it. Okay, now we are going to understand. Say for example, I'm going to take Excel sheet. In that Excel sheet, maybe 100 records are available. Normally we can do that. Normal Java programs we are able to do that. But in Excel sheet, 1 lakh records are available. How we are going to read that 1 lakh records and how we are going to store them into the database 1 lakh records? No. Yeah, there we are going to use what there, Spring Boot batch processing. Instead of doing that single batch, if you apply multiple batches over a single task, automatically the task is going to be complete in a faster manner. Automatically the task is going to be complete in very less time. So that advantages here we are able to get with what there, Spring Boot batch processing. There are very good examples we are going to take there from the Spring Boot batch processing now. After completion of these, that another very important topic in a real time also is very important. Nowadays most of the interviewers are asking this question, and moreover nowadays every project is required this kind of content. Then that is the topic is like for the Spring Boot messaging, guys. Spring Boot messaging. Inside this messaging tools are available. We are going to use that messaging tools, guys. Right, what I'm going to discuss with you about this Spring Boot there regarding this messaging tools. No, I'm going to use like what there. First of all, I will show with ActiveMQ. Yeah, this is one messaging tool. Next one is what there, RabbitMQ. This is another messaging tool. Next one is like what there, Kafka. Up to Kafka we are going to understand, but nowadays Kafka is getting very good demand. Up to this Kafka I'm going to show that at each and every case, how we are going to use ActiveMQ, how we are going to use RabbitMQ, how we are going to use Kafka. Right from installations I'm able to show how we are going to install that all the tools and how we are going to use them, how to start that services now. Then after that, how to get the dashboard of each and every service and monitoring over the messages and who are sending that messages and who are going to receive that messages. How we are going to create bonding between both the receivers and sender. How many messages are available? Is that broadcasted messages or not? Like so many concepts are available that each and every topic there we are going to understand effectively about this what there. Spring Boot messaging content, ActiveMQ, RabbitMQ, and finally, what is it now? Actually, Kafka. They are the concepts here we are getting clearly. After that, after completion of this content here, that next one is like what there. After completion of this, now we are going to understand directly Spring Boot, right, sir, web. Spring Boot web. How we are going to prepare web applications with the Spring Boot? How is it possible to prepare web applications with the Spring Boot? So that concepts here we are going to understand. That is, in a Spring Web MVC module is available. The same thing, how we are going to integrate the Spring Web MVC related module, related things along with our Spring Boot application. There is a separate module that is what the Spring Boot web. There we are going to see how we are going to prepare web applications and how to access the web related thing like view resolvers, maybe how to configure the view resolvers, offer these how to configure like what their handler mappings. So these kind of things here we are going to understand with the Spring Boot web. All right, so then after that, after completion of the Spring Boot web, the next one here we are going to understand is like what there Spring Boot logging in Spring Boot. Logging in a Spring Boot, how to provide this log4j implementations or SLF4j implementations along with our Spring Boot application. These are required in real-time application development that we are going to understand clearly. After that, after completion of this, the next topic, the last topic in our Spring Boot syllabus here, what I'm going to discuss there, all right, the Spring Boot REST. Spring Boot REST. That means Spring Boot REST in the sense how we are going to integrate, how we are going to implement RESTful services along with our Spring Boot applications. Right, guys, then up to this part here, we are going to understand clearly in our content. This is the max syllabus. This is a max content of like what there Spring Boot. So they are the content here we are going to understand. Guys, all of you are following what I'm telling you. Just now I explained only, just now I explained only the syllabus of the Spring Boot, not like any other content. Yes, I'm explaining only the syllabus, what I'm going to discuss inside the Spring Boot, what you are going to discuss there inside the Spring Boot. The total content here I've given a little bit overview are given about the each and every part here, each and every headline, each and every content, guys. Okay. Right, sir. Now this is exactly the meaning of like what the Spring Boot and its related content. Okay. Then every day I want to take the Spring Boot classes. Like the time is what there 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. every day, 10 to 11. By sharp 10 o'clock, I will start the class tomorrow onwards. By exactly 11 o'clock, I will stop the class. Why? Because by 11:05, I need to start another class there. Okay, because of that reason, then 10 to 11 is a time for it. 1 hour I'm going to take now. Parallelly, we are going to take these Spring Boot classes now. Okay. Right, guys, I want to stop this session here itself, and tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we are going to see now. Guys, those who are attending Spring class and Hibernate, no, then today, excuse for it. Today, I'm not going to take the two classes, Advanced Java and as well as like what there's Spring framework at 11 o'clock. I need to take no. Tomorrow onwards, I'll continue all the three classes. No, today won't excuse for it. Today, just have taken only Spring Boot class and Spring and Advanced Java classes. I will continue on tomorrow onwards. From tomorrow onwards. Okay. All right, guys. Then anything else? Shall we meet on tomorrow at 10 o'clock? Exactly at 10 o'clock. Bhushan, not like that. Not that much of projects. No. Thank you, Vinay. Thanks a lot, Saurabh. Yeah, thank you, Ashok. Yeah, thank you, Hino. Yeah, now excuse today. Then tomorrow onwards we'll continue the spring and advanced Java classes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sure. Deep Jyoti, sure. We can type the question. Just as an introduction, guys. Just nothing I've discussed here. Even I not started our content also. Just given the syllabus, what I'm going to be covered. That part only I've discussed with you. Okay. Yeah, in the case, meanwhile, if I find any other topics which are important, no, then definitely I will discuss with you. Yeah, sure, guys. Then this is a course for what purpose? There Spring Boot. This is a course for Spring Boot, no. But continuation of the Spring Boot separately, I will start what there microservices. Sure. Okay. But this is a course for what there Spring Boot. So then today I given the demo class for only Spring Boot. Okay. All right, sir. Yeah, Agil, Max, I'll try for it. Yeah, myself also I'm thinking about it, but at least I will show some point in microservices. Some part in microservice I'll discuss with you, Max. Yeah, at the end of the sessions, at the end of the course, maybe I'll show that. Yeah, even I'm planning for it. Okay. Anything else, guys? Shall we meet on tomorrow? Yeah, thank you, thank you. Tomorrow by sharp 10 o'clock, I will start the session, guys. And come to the session at least 10 minutes before. Exactly by 10 o'clock, our story will start on tomorrow. Yeah, no waiting time. Exactly by 10 o'clock, I'll start the class tomorrow. Directly, you can come to the class at 10 o'clock. Use the same link as next 2 to 3 days of time. Use the same link. After that, permanent link will come. Permanent link will be shared for all the members. Okay. Guys, if all of you leave, then I'll wind up the session. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. I'll meet on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you. Anything else, guys? Then if you want to ask anything else, then I will discuss with you clearly on tomorrow. Sorry, then I'll give clarity on it. Now you can raise your questions if you need any content. Anything else apart from this? No, okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. No questions. Then it's okay. Then tomorrow we'll see the remaining part. Thank you.